Chap, you have done an awful lot of work in your scholarship on questions of adolescent development. You've done an awful lot of work on understanding family instability, and in our lecture last night, you really brought these two dynamics together. Understanding adolescent development requiring the tasks or the work of identity, of autonomy and purpose, and on developing a sense of belonging, and how the dynamics of family instability undermine each of these, assault each of these, and stunt each of these tasks of adolescence. Could we just unpack those one by one? How does family instability at home wound or stunt a child's ability to develop a sense of identity?
Really important question, because when we move from childhood to adulthood in any culture, whether it's in Korea or Poland or somewhere in Africa, any place that they have any technology at all, adolescence is a real thing. And so therefore, between childhood and adulthood, you have to figure out, how do I move from dependency as a child into being an interdependent adult as a peer? That movement we have labeled adolescence, especially the last 50 years or more. And so the first step of that, or the most basic step of that, is this sense of unique self. In the Western world, especially in America and other places, we work so hard at saying the unique self needs to be celebrated as an individual that is basically atomized, as an atom. I am ultimately alone in the universe, which is an American cultural icon, even especially now perhaps. And so therefore we think identity is, this is me and there's the rest of you. That is actually a dysfunction. That is an element of stunted growth into adulthood, because real identity, as God has created us, is to discover our uniqueness in the midst of community. So you are celebrated because you are not only unique and gifted and talented, but you are part of a larger community. So that individualism is found located within community, and we're interdependent, all walking together through life. That's how God designed it. So identity is really important to move through this time where you have to discover what makes me unique about me. Why would anybody celebrate me? Why am I any different than the young person who sits next to me in class, or that I am friends with in a group walking down the street? Identity development in the Western world is all about trying to figure out how I can choose my own identity by what I'm good at, by what people can recognize. What I have to do is perform my way into blessing. And if I can get somebody to notice me, then I'm going to spend time thinking that I am noticeable and appreciated and affirmed as a unique person because of that skill that I've developed, the look that I have. And the devastating thing of that, if that's what we think identity is, our external person, we carry that into adulthood, which inhibits our ability to not only connect with other people, but we are always looking for other people to validate that external reality. And actually, that robs our joy, because you don't experience joy when you're outside of community. When you remain an isolated, atomized individual, you can't experience joy, because joy is found within the context of community. So a family dysfunction, instability, a family will tell a kid, somehow you are not worthy of notice. When adults are dealing with their own instability, what they do is they focus on their own needs and their own circumstances, and that's basically the root of family instability. So children are a byproduct. They are either in the way, they're called to be a caretaker of the adult's dysfunction, or they are subject to violence and abuse and a wide range of other behaviors and attitudes in their family. And what happens to that kid is they learn in their family that they are not worthy of being noticed. And there are millions and millions and millions of children around the world that do not believe they're worthy of being noticed. And so it robs their ability to believe that they have a unique person. This is where we need to bring our scriptures in. This is where we need to celebrate as the church, that every kid, it's not about identity formation based on what you're good at or how you draw attention to yourself. Our identity is rooted in creation, redemption, and calling of Jesus Christ. That every single kid is worthy of notice because God has declared them his. Every child is a son or a daughter of the King and a member of his household as he created, redeemed, and called them. And so identity in the church is to recognize that their uniqueness is celebrated But it's not uniqueness for what they do, it's uniqueness because God declares them His.